Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
We're following a breaking news story as two drivers are dead. Both drivers were killed in a crash on Lewisburg Road. As you're looking live at this video, what we're learning at the scene, that what might have caused the crash.
And we're looking at the hottest day of the year so far. We do have the potential for high heat danger. We'll talk about how long we'll see this heat wave sticking around.
And job market indicators. The March jobs report will be out in about 30 minutes. How this will inform employers after those major tariff announcements. Plus, it is Dreamville weekend and tens of thousands of people will attend the festival in Raleigh. The traffic impacts you should probably expect starting tonight, even if you're not going. Hey, thanks so much for joining us here on WRAL News and Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingett. A lot is going on today. We're going to go ahead and start with your weather forecast for this Friday. Oh boy, it's a hot one out there, Elizabeth, and the same is going to be true all weekend long.
And we really started the warm up yesterday. We hit 86 degrees. We're going to push it on up to 90 today, most likely. And if we do, it'll be our first 90-degree day of the year, and it'll break a record. But it's pretty comfortable here in the gardens right now. You take a look behind me, and you can see the beautiful gardens. The azaleas are really starting to pop. There were a bunch of people out here yesterday. It's going to be a great day to visit. Just note that it's going to be, on the warm side in the middle of the afternoon. Right now, it is 74. Our dew point 66. So you feel that humidity again today, just like we did yesterday. Temperatures are in the low to mid 70s right now, which is about 4 or 5 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. We're starting off with cloud cover. This is a look at how much of the sky is covered with clouds. Notice how that decreases. We'll get to partly cloudy skies during the afternoon, but as more sun breaks out, those temperatures will climb. That's when we'll likely hit upper 80s to around 90 degrees. We do stay dry today. Our next best chance of rain comes with a front late Sunday night, where we could have the potential for some isolated severe storms. We'll go over the timeline coming up. Ken?
8:01, Elizabeth, here in the WR Traffic Center. We're staying on top of that breaking news in northern Wake County. A deadly crash on Lewisburg Road, down around Botany Bay Drive, to be specific. It's right near I-540 this morning. It's a situation where it's causing quite a bit of backups. Let's take this live look courtesy of Sky 5. You can see the huge backups it's causing right there on Lewisburg Road in those southbound lanes as well, because we're seeing some onlooker delay coming in. Let's get right to Eric Miller on the ground this morning with exactly what we know so far. Set the scene for us, Eric.
Ken, this was an exceptionally bad crash happening right in the middle of the night, 3:30 this morning. You take a look behind me. We're getting one of our first really close looks at this scene here. Two cars involved. You can see one of those vehicles right there, this white Acura. The side absolutely caved in by the impact of this crash, severe enough to shatter glass, rend metal, and leave debris scattered all over this scene. Again, this crash happened right around 3:30 this morning. We know 2 people died here. Those 2 people, the driver of each of these vehicles, nobody else involved here, nobody else taken to the hospital. At this point, crews are working on cleanup. You see Raleigh police officers out here with push brooms and with their gloved hands rather, picking up what was left behind, this debris field scattered over more than a block out here outside the 5401 North development here. We know, according to Raleigh police, that speed was likely a factor in this crash. We're still working to learn if anything else may have played a role here as well, something like drugs or alcohol. Police looking into that this morning as well. Of course, Lewisburg Road is completely shut down here as police continue with this cleanup. Ken, you're tracking the best way to get around these backups this morning.
Yeah, and the thing is, this situation happened in the northbound lanes, but Scott 5 just showed you the huge backups it's causing in the southbound lanes. If you're listening to us on 101.5 HD3, you want to get off on Perry Creek Road and work your way over the Capitol Boulevard as a result of this. If you're heading north this morning to Lewisburg Road, your best alternate route would be Capitol Boulevard. Right now, we have a couple of incidents dotting on live traffic sensors, but nothing really that's going to make you late. All the major routes are delay-free. We do have this crash on I-95. It's been working now for the last hour and a half. It involved a tractor trailer that caught fire. This is around the micro area, more specifically specifically the Bagley Road area. Right now, at least one lane of traffic we know is getting through. We'll continue to monitor that and have a little bit more for you coming up in just a few minutes. But in terms of major routes coming into the capital city, we're just seeing very little to no delays, just mainly the 6-minute delay we're seeing coming in from Wake Forest this morning. But in Durham, very little to no delays in the Bull City. All the major routes are delay free. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
And Ken, we have another breaking story we've been following this morning. A tractor trailer caught fire on I-95. You see this video right here? This is from the WRAL breaking news tracker. It shows the moments firefighters were trying to put the flames out in the truck's cabin. This happened near the Bagley Road exit in Johnston County. And troopers say both people who were inside the truck are uninjured. Both northbound lanes of I-95 were closed as the team worked to fight this fire. And we will be watching the stock market very closely today. You can see we are looking to see if there's going to be any kind of rebound after that massive sell-off yesterday. The Dow, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ all plunged dramatically. And this right here is in response to President Donald Trump's new tariffs on nearly every global trading partner. It was the worst day on Wall Street since the start of the COVID pandemic 5 years ago. But Trump says he's not giving in. He says the U.S. economy will boom in the long run. Now, speaking on Air Force One, Trump said that he is open to negotiations with other countries if they offer something, in his words, quote, phenomenal. The European Union and China say they are preparing countermeasures against the tariffs. Canada's prime minister says his country will match a 25% tariff on automobile imports from the U.S. And this morning, we'll get new information about how the country's labor market is handling financial uncertainty. The Bureau of Labor Statistics will release its jobs report in about 24 minutes. Forecasters expect it will show the economy added 140,000 jobs in March, and that would be a slowdown from the 151,000 jobs added in February. NC State economist Mike Walden says today's results likely won't show the impact new tariffs could have on the job market.
I don't know that this is a key job report, but I think it is a prelude to even greater concerns about what the tariffs are going to do regarding employment, unemployment, business returns, and of course the big R word out there is looming.
And that big R word is recession. We'll continue to watch how the markets respond today after taking the biggest hit since 2020 yesterday. You can look for updates on WRAL News from 4 to 7:30 this evening. Dreamville Festival in Raleigh gets started tomorrow at noon at Dix Park. And the park will close to the public starting at 10 o'clock tonight. Let's go ahead and bring in WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. She is live on Western Boulevard this morning. And Kelsey, thousands of music fans will be at Dreamville this weekend. And even for the people not going, traffic's going to be a trouble.
Yes, Chris, traffic could impact folks' commute starting today, and there are some signs that are along Western Boulevard and other areas that are near Dix Park that warn drivers to use an alternate route. Let's take you to some Sky 5 video of Dix Park as crews are preparing for the big weekend. Thousands of people are en route to Raleigh for the festival. The city raked in nearly $146 million in economic impact from Dreamville last year. This weekend was set to be the final festival, but Dreamville organizers and the city of Raleigh made a big announcement yesterday. A 4-year contract for another music festival is in the works.
I think this festival now and continuing in the future is a beacon of hope and inspiration for so many people who enjoy the festival and those who just get, I guess, the residuals of it, right? But either way, it's a huge benefit for all those involved.
The city and Dreamville organizers are still ironing out the details of that contract, so we're not sure yet what the name of that new festival will be. But in the meantime, crews are working on their final preparations for this weekend, so Dix Park will close to the public tonight at 10 o'clock. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And just so you know, there are several ways to get to Dreamville this year. Anyone staying or parking in downtown Raleigh can ride the downtown shuttle to and from the venue. Passes cost $50 and are good all weekend. The shuttles will pick up at Moore Square and the west entrance to the festival, and they'll run nonstop from 10:30 in the morning until 1 a.m. You can also catch a ride on the Go Raleigh bus, and routes 11 and 21 both travel from Dix Park to downtown. That option will be a lot cheaper, costing a max of $2.50. Today, community leaders in Durham will rally against a rezoning project in the city's historic Haytide district. Developers purchased the land along Fayetteville Street back in 2022. The plan is to create a mixed-use office lab and residential space there. But neighbors in the Hayti community oppose this development. They want to see a plan that benefits the local community in a bigger way. And so tonight's rally begins at 5:30 at St. Mark AME Zion Church, and that is on South Roxborough Street. Duke is gearing up for their shot at a national championship. The Blue Devils shared these photos on social media. Notice the players practicing on the court at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio last night. That is where Duke will take on Houston in the national semifinals. Tip-off for that game is scheduled for 8:49 tomorrow night, and if the men's basketball team wins that game, they'll be at the Alamo Dome Monday night for the national championship. And of course, we have WRAL's Chris Lee and Luis Fernandez on their way to San Antonio this morning. They will have live reports starting this evening on WRAL News. And folks, we want to see how you're supporting the Blue Devils, whether you're cheering from there or even sending your videos. And you can, of course, send all that to WRAL.com/reported. We'll share them on television and online as well. Your time is 8:10. Investigating from within. The Defense Department will review security leaders' use of Signal, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. New information after military plans were discussed on the app. Plus, remembering a hero. A Moore County sailor was identified decades after his death in World War II. The special honors as he is finally laid to rest.
And it's mild and muggy here on the WRAL weather patio. Today could end up being the hottest days so far this year. I'll show you how long our little heat wave will last.
Giving you a live look outside at Wilson this morning. A lot of overcast skies there, and you can see the whirly gigs. Oh, they are in fact whirling and gigging too. As you're watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or your streaming device. We do want to get outside to the WRAL weather patio with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. She has not put her hair back just yet, but as the morning progresses, will that happen as it's hot outside right now, Elizabeth?
It will for sure. Yeah, my hair, it's just as muggy as it was yesterday. So, it's starting to droop a little bit. It's going to be frizzy out here, before you know it. But it's pretty comfortable, I'll say. We do have cloud cover everywhere, just like we did yesterday. Fayetteville, Raleigh, Apex, Chapel Hill, all looking cloudy this morning, but feeling really comfortable. Our temperatures are in the low to mid 70s. It's just a little bit on the sticky side. We have a cold front that will be headed our way. Right now, it's a stationary front starting to lift a little farther north as a warm front. This is the front that produced a lot of severe weather yesterday and last night. It will continue to do that across parts of the deep south down toward Texas and all the way up toward the Mississippi Valley. It stays away from us until Sunday, but it's going to cause a lot of problems for parts of the country. This is a look at the storm reports from the last 24 hours. 1 report of tornado damage, 43 reports of wind damage, which is much lower than what we saw the day before, where we saw 20 reports of tornado damage and 400 wind reports. As that front moves eastward, it'll bring us some showers and thunderstorms Sunday night into Monday. Should be a good soaking rain, and we do have a low severe threat. This is a look at our severe threat for late Sunday night from the triangle north and west. That level 1 risk just means an isolated chance of some severe storms. Why is this front stationary? Why is it going to sit there for the next several days? It's thanks to that high sitting off the coast of Florida. It's going to hold that front to the west and not let it move forward. And in that position today, there's a level 4 risk for severe storms across parts of the Midwest, including Arkansas, which has already seen a lot of damage. How about the rainfall in that area? Another 7 to 10 inches is possible, so not only severe storms, but flooding is likely. What about our weekend? Big festival there at Dix Park, 89 Saturday, 90 Sunday. The heat's going to be the biggest problem, but there is a chance for some evening thunderstorms. It looks like the front has slowed down a little bit. At 10:30, it looks dry in Raleigh. That's excellent news. And then the rain comes in after that. Now, if you're headed out to Dreamville, you want to keep checking back with us here on WRAL as we continue to watch the timeline for that front. We could get a good soaking rain on Monday with up to 2 inches, and then it turns much cooler for Tuesday. We could see some frost on Wednesday morning, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, at 8:16, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, that huge mess that's happening on Lewisburg Road, this deadly crash shutting down the northbound lanes of Lewisburg Road right there at I-540. Let's get to these live pictures, courtesy of photographer Charles Bradley. You can see first responders have been cleaning up the debris, and you can see the 2 mangled vehicles there. As we said, Lewisburg Road, northbound lanes completely shut down. This is a live look with the help of Sky 5 showing you the broader view of those 2 two mangled vehicles there. You can see first responders are still there on the scene. At this point, we're told that Lewisburg Road is closed between Fox Road and I-540. We're seeing a lot of onlooker delayed traffic coming in the southbound lanes as well. We'll keep monitoring this for you and continue to update you all morning long. But back here in the traffic sensors, those onlooker delays that we're seeing in those southbound lanes, you might want to take Perry Creek Road, get over the Capitol Boulevard as an alternate route. Similarly, if you're heading north, Capitol Boulevard is your best bet in terms of getting around what's happening there on Lewisburg Road. We are seeing a situation that's happening in terms of I-95 as well. It's a situation we've been monitoring all morning long. It's a crash on I-95 there in the micro area. It's a situation that we've been monitoring. Right now, we know at least one lane of traffic is getting through. It involved a tractor trailer. We know that both drivers, or the driver and the passenger in the tractor trailer, are okay, but it's causing some delays in that micro area. Again, I'll keep monitoring that here in the WRAL Traffic Center. In terms of other major routes into the capital city, you're looking at very little to no delays, just about a 5-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest. If you're getting ready to head out the door, tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
All right, thank you, Ken. The Defense Department announced it will review Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's use of the app Signal. He and others used it while discussing last month's military strikes in Yemen. The department wants to determine if Hegseth and others complied with protocol when using the messaging app. It will also look into whether Hegseth was in line with classification requirements. Top officials previously said the information shared in those messages was not classified. And there are many Americans wondering how President Trump's tariffs will affect their wallets. Ian Cole spoke to shoppers about what they're seeing at the grocery store.
Welcome to aisle 3 at the local grocery store. This is where most Americans will likely see the tariff impact first.
I have not noticed a difference yet. I expect that we will fairly shortly.
According to the budget lab at Yale, if you add up all the newly announced tariffs, they estimate it will cost families an average of $3,800 more this year, roughly an extra $73 a week.
I have two boys, so they're constantly hungry. My wife already has actually started to sort of penny pinch, not overbuy.
But some folks are stocking up on grocery essentials. There are, however, some items you can't stockpile, like produce. The good news, the White House says USMCA-compliant goods will not have a tariff. That means most produce from Mexico and Canada is exempt. But fruits, veggies, and other foods from outside those two countries will likely cost you more, including wheat, chocolate, and coffee, and imported seafood and wine.
It's crazy, and unfortunately, they voted the man in, and this is what's happening.
Economists tell us that grocery stores typically have slim profit margins, so they expect the cost to be passed to consumers at checkout relatively quickly. Most people we spoke with in the South Bay say the price hike is going to hurt, and they say they put that blame solely on the president.
Regular day, everyday Americans sort of using them as bait, you know.
And frankly, any idea that the president gives a hoot about the average consumer is kind of laughable.
That was Ian Cole with that story. 6 people are hurt because a man went on a stabbing spree in Washington, D.C. Investigators say that man was under the influence of an unknown substance, and they say he stabbed himself and a woman he was walking with before he started randomly stabbing other people. One of the victims was a grandmother getting into a car with her grandchildren. In total, 4 women and 2 men were taken to hospitals. Investigators have not said how serious the injuries are. Well, we have learned that a World War II sailor finally received his burial with full military honors. Mess attendant Neil Fry was buried at Sand Hill State Veterans Cemetery in Spring Lake yesterday. This is where that happened. He enlisted in the Navy in 1940 and was killed at just 20 years old aboard the USS West Virginia. His remains were not identified until last fall. And WRAL spoke with his only surviving sister about what this moment means to her.
I know he's home, and I know my mom and dad wouldn't have wanted anything else but that.
Fry's name is recorded on the corpse of the missing at the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific in Hawaii. The measles vaccination rate in the United States may be even lower than previously estimated. Doctors recommend children get their first measles shot by the age of 15. A new report from a healthcare analytics company found in 2024, nearly 32% of young children did not get their first shot on schedule. In 2020, nearly 1 in 4 kids did not receive that shot by the recommended age of 15 months. Federal health leaders say at least 95% of children in kindergarten need to have 2 doses of the vaccine in order to prevent outbreaks. In Wake County, town leaders in Garner want your input on the search for the next police chief. And people who live and work in that community can now share their concerns and priorities to help find the best candidate. You can find the survey on the town's website through April 30th. Now, this search is happening after Garner's current police chief, Lori Smith, announced her retirement. Her last day on the job is May 1st. Just a heads up, drivers, tonight a ramp on I-440 East will be closed. That's so teams can work on a traffic signal. The work started just a few minutes ago on the ramp out onto westbound Wade Avenue. The ramp is expected to be back open by 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Detours will be posted, just so you know. People in Durham County will have a chance to drop off old electronics that need recycling, and you can do this tomorrow. From 8 a.m. until noon, the county's solid waste division will accept broken or outdated electronics, and you can take your stuff to their site in northern Durham on North Roxborough Road. Residents must have a current solid waste decal included in last year's property tax bill. Finding the funds. St. Augustine's University faces 2 new lawsuits. The latest calls for repayment as the university works to overcome financial struggles. Plus, repeat offender. Neighbors in a Raleigh neighborhood say they feel terrorized by a woman with a history in that area. What police are saying they're doing to prevent even more damage.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Happy Friday morning to you. Your time is 8:26. I'm Chris Lovingood. Let's step outside to the WRAL weather patio with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner.
It's comfortable out here. Lots of cloud cover and it feels muggy, but it's beautiful in the gardens. The azaleas are really popping out. It's going to be a great day, great weekend to get out here and take a look at our beautiful gardens. Our temperatures are in the low to mid 70s, 74 in Durham, 71 Garner and Cary. So it's a really warm start, but not bad at lunchtime. We'll still see temperatures at around 80 degrees, but when the sun comes out this afternoon, it's going to be hot. We can see the first 90-degree day of the year. That 90-degree temperature will happen mid to late afternoon. So just make sure you're finished with your exercise before then, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, the new information about that crash in northern Wake County. In the last 3 minutes, we learned that at least 2 lanes of those southbound on Lewisburg Road have reopened. Let's take these live pictures right now, courtesy of Sky 5, showing you what we're talking about. And traffic is slowly getting through. You can still see the mangled wreckage there. The drivers of 2 cars died in that crash. No word yet on when this scene will be completely cleared. We'll continue to monitor it here in the WRAL Traffic Center. But if you have to get around this mess, particularly if you're coming south on Lewisburg Road, even though those lanes are open, if you're in a rush, you could take Berry Creek Road over to Capitol Boulevard, and if you have to head north, take Capitol Boulevard as well.
Thank you, Ken. A Raleigh man is facing charges after police say he sexually assaulted a woman inside a Cary Walmart. This happened at the Kildare Farm Road Walmart on Wednesday, and police say 31-year-old, Stefan Ingram, returned to that store the very next day. He made incriminating statements to officers after being arrested, according to authorities. And St. Augustine University is facing 2 new lawsuits over claims that it is not paying bills. Next on Fox 50, a tractor trailer caught fire on I-95 in Johnston County. We'll show you the video.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
2 people killed in a crash. Both drivers were killed in a collision on Lewisburg Road, which is now slightly open to some traffic there. We're going to take you back to that scene as investigators try to piece together what happened here.
Meantime, the Dow is down again. China has punched back on the Trump tariffs, and the March jobs report is minutes away. We're keeping an eye on your money from the WRAL Live Center.
And we're on track today to see the hottest day of the year so far. That means we do have a moderate heat risk for part of the viewing area. I'll show you what that means and how many days we'll see a heat wave.
Plus, the countdown to Dreamville is on. The music festival will be held at Dix Park this weekend in Raleigh. The closures at and around the park you gotta know about today. I would be patient if you're driving by the park this weekend. Just a little spoiler alert for that story. Thanks for joining us this morning on WRAL News on Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood. I'm landlocked here in the studio while meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner gets to play outside on the weather patio.
I'm swimming around out here in the humidity right now, not landlocked. It feels comfortable out here. I mean, it's definitely sticky, but the temperature is nice and mild. We're in the low to mid 70s. Turning around to look at the gardens, boy, it's so pretty back there. We do have azaleas that are blooming, and so we typically have some nice crowds to visit. And of course, we invite you to come down during daylight hours and enjoy the gardens. At least another 2 weeks of pretty color behind us. 74 is the temperature. Our dew point is 66. Our temperatures are in the low to mid 70s. There's a little bit of a breeze out here. Now, it is cloudy, and it's cloudy everywhere, but this is a look at how much of the sky is covered in clouds. 80 to 90% now, but this afternoon it drops down to 30 to 40%. So as the sun comes out, we'll see the temperatures climbing. We could see our first 90-degree day of the year, which could also break a record. Our next best chance of rain and cooler temperatures comes Sunday night into Monday. We'll talk about our severe threat and how much rain we could see.
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, all new information concerning that deadly crash in northern Wake County. We're talking here on Lewisburg Road, shutting down that road in both directions. But right now, we do know that at least 2 lanes in the southbound lanes have reopened, but still those northbound lanes are completely closed. Let's get right to Eric Miller, WRAL's Eric Miller. He's been on the scene all morning long. So, Eric, tell us what's happening now and what happened.
Well, Ken, we're keeping a close eye on this crash, and the crews who right now are doing everything they can to try to get more lanes of Lewisburg Road open. You take a look behind me here, you can see the 2 vehicles involved here, and you get a sense of just how serious this was. That white Acura in particular, parts of that vehicle squished flat as a pancake. I want to send you up to Sky 5 now. You get a sense of the breadth of this scene. You may still be able to see some of the debris that was left behind by this wreck scattered over more than a city block out here. This, of course, Lewisburg Road at Botany Bay Drive. This crash happened right around 3:30 this morning. Raleigh police say it was just these 2 vehicles involved here. Both drivers died at the scene. Nobody else was in either vehicle. Raleigh police say speed was likely a factor here. They can't say if anything else may have played a role, anything like drugs or alcohol. Investigators are going to be looking into that as they continue to piece together this scene here. This does remain a headache for drivers. Ken, I know you've been following the closures all morning long, what this will mean for folks and the best way to try to deal with the traffic we're seeing as a result of this crash.
The best way to do it, and the good news, like you just said, Eric, 2 lanes in the southbound lanes are open. The northbound lanes still remain closed. If you're coming south and you're in a rush this morning, Perry Creek Road is an alternate route that'll get you over to Capitol Boulevard. And if you're heading north, Capitol Boulevard is your best alternate route to get around what's happening there on Lewisburg Road. Also, all the major routes are relatively delay-free right now, but I do want to tell you about this crash on I-95. It's in the micro area around Bagley Road. There's a tractor-trailer that was involved in a fire. The driver and the passenger are both okay. We'll have a little bit more coming up in just a few minutes, but for right now, we do know that at least 1 lane of traffic is getting through there. In terms of major routes coming into the capital city, we just have a 7-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest, and over in Durham, very little to no delays whatsoever in the Bowl City. You're getting ready to head out the door. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
All right, thank you, Ken. Let's get back to that tractor trailer you were talking about that caught fire. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker on I-95. It shows firefighters working to put the flames out in the truck's cabin. It happened near the Bagley Road exit in Johnston County. And troopers say both people who were in the truck were unharmed.
And back here at the WRAL Life Center, keeping an eye on the Dow futures, all of the stocks, about an hour before the stock market opens today. It'll be a long Friday, final day of trading here before we get to that final bell. Catch our breath for the weekend here. But as we look, Dow Jones futures, the open, it's implied about 1,000 points down. Now, just a little while ago, this was down 1,400 points because China has punched back against some of these tariffs that have come their way. And the exact number, 34%, it matches exactly what the Donald Trump administration has imposed on China for all U.S. goods coming out of there. So this is just a retaliatory move right there, and we expect potentially a flurry of those measures to be coming out. So as China does that, taking a look at the jobs report, we are waiting momentarily for those numbers to come out. Now, it's supposed to show, experts say, about 140,000 jobs to be added in March, a bit of a slowdown from February. But all of this likely will not have anything to do with the impact of the new tariffs on the job market. This is the March jobs report. So the April jobs report will be out in May, and that'll be a better indicator of the fallout from the tariffs.
All eyes on the economy today, Jeff. Today, senators will start the process of approving the Republican-backed budget resolution. The Senate voted 52 to 48 last night to begin this process. Republican Rand Paul of Kentucky joined all Democrats in voting against it. Passing the budget resolution is just the first step, though. The House would still have to pass it as well. Then it would go to committees that will use the framework to craft the actual bills. Dreamville Festival in Raleigh gets started tomorrow at noon at Dix Park, and the park will close to the public at 10 o'clock tonight, just so you know. As WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains, even if you're just driving near the park, the festival is going to affect your traffic.
Even if you're not going to the festival, this traffic could impact your commute starting today. So there are signs all across Western Boulevard and other areas that are near Dix Park that are warning drivers to take alternate routes. Let's take you to some Sky 5 video of Dix Park as crews are preparing for the big weekend. Thousands of people are en route to Raleigh for the festival. The city raked in nearly $146 million in economic impact from Dreamville last year. This weekend was set to be the final festival, but Dreamville organizers and the city of Raleigh made a big announcement yesterday. A 4-year contract for another music festival is in the works.
I really think that good art is great business, and Dreamville has really shown that both in its lineups of performing artists and in its prioritization of really making sure that the local creative community is represented. So, yeah, absolutely thrilled that we'll keep doing that.
The city and Dreamville organizers are still ironing out the details of that contract, so we're still waiting to find out what the name of that new festival will be. But in the meantime, crews are working on their final preparations for this weekend, so Dix Park will close to the public tonight at 10 o'clock. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
A major road in Asheville will reopen today. 6 months ago, Hurricane Helene destroyed it. The DOT says Swannanoa River Road will be back open for traffic this afternoon. Teams have worked for months to repair and to rebuild this 3-mile stretch of the road. Part of it reopened in late January. A man in Raleigh is facing charges because police say he sexually assaulted a woman inside a Cary Walmart. Officers say they caught him later, and that next day he went into the store, they say, the exact same one. 31-year-old Stefan Ingram is now charged with 1 count of sexual battery, and this case happened at the Kildare Farm Road location on Wednesday. A 72-year-old woman told police a man brushed up against her while she was checking out, and when they arrested Ingram yesterday, he made incriminating statements to officers, according to authorities. Neighbors in the Raleigh community say a woman has been terrorizing them. She is accused of breaking into cars and damaging property. Ring doorbell footage appears to show, Lisa McIntyre caught in the act of this. Our search of her arrest history shows her being arrested several times in recent months. Neighbors tell us she was most recently arrested Wednesday when she was found sleeping in a car that was not hers. That same night, she ignored home security alarms around Lineberry Drive. WRAL saw a video that appears to show her throwing pottery and yelling too.
I can imagine waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to someone pounding on my door and then, doing the things that she's done. It needs to be taken seriously.
Now, we did ask Raleigh police how they try to prevent people from repeatedly committing crimes like this. And they told us they have the Acorns unit to help anyone who's in crisis by connecting them with mental health resources. St. Augustine's University is facing 2 new lawsuits over claims it's not paying bills. 2 different companies filed suits about a week apart from each other, and they're seeking collectively more than $18 million. Wireless company SBA Connect claims the university went into default of its agreement in September and owes $17 million. While IT company Averia claims the HBCU has paid some, but not all, of its bills dating back to 2020. The company's lawyer says St. Aug's owes them more than $1 million, and the company is still doing work for the school unpaid.
If they were to pull the plug on that, it would make a very bad situation even worse.
A month ago, St. Aug's accreditation was revoked because it could not prove financial stability and proper oversight, but the university is appealing that. Your timer now is 8:40. Crafted with care, a Wisconsin artist is handpicked to design art for this year's NFL draft. His lifelong ties to the host city. Plus, a friendly face on campus. Durham Tech brings in a new therapy dog. We're going to introduce you to Zoe and show how she's relieving stress for students and staff alike. All right, big weather update today. Hot. It's not really an update. It's just going to get hotter. You're looking live right now over Fayetteville Street in downtown Raleigh. And meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will tell us how long that heat will stick around, plus when we could see some storms. And John Grayson out there on the green, hoping to get a birdie on this next putt. Nah, I'm just kidding. Kind of looks like golf, though, as we're looking live at Southern Pines this morning. Little overcast skies there. You can see the sunshine kind of peeking through the clouds, sort of setting the stage for what we're going to see today. We have Elizabeth Gardner out in the WRAL weather patio today. You were out there yesterday, Elizabeth. It was hot. Copy and paste, same thing today.
Exactly. We hit 86 yesterday. We're going to hit 90 today, most likely. So it'll feel really similar. When you step outside, you'll feel that humidity, too. We started to feel that yesterday. We'll feel that all the way through the weekend. I will invite you out to the gardens. I'm looking behind me right now. And yesterday at noon, there were a bunch of people here having picnics, enjoying it. The azaleas are blooming, and they'll be blooming for the next several weeks. You got a little bit of time if you can't make it this weekend. 74 is our temperature right now. Dew point at 66. So, again, it does feel muggy for this time of year. And our high temperatures are in the low to mid 70s right now. A little closer to the Triangle, it is 72 in Garner, 71 in Holly Springs, 71 degrees in Cary. So again, everybody's in the low to mid 70s. With some sunshine later this afternoon, we should hit 90 in Raleigh, 91 in Durham, 90 in Fayetteville. That would make it the hottest day of the year. We'll likely break a record. If we hit that 90, we'll break the previous record of 88. And of course, it's just going to feel like summer. The pollen count will continue to be high for trees, pine, oak, and sweet gum all the way through the weekend and probably for the next several weeks as well. Our reported photo comes from Julie Newman in Durham, where you can see that retention pond just covered in pollen. And boy, pollens definitely are a big story this time of year. Go to WRAL.com/reportit. Send us your photos of what's happening in your backyard. 69 is our normal high today, 90 Friday and Sunday, and almost that on Saturday. And then we see a huge drop in our temperature behind Sunday night and Monday's front. So here's our forecast high for today, 90. That will break the previous record of 88, and Saturday we're looking at potentially tying the record. Because of that, and it's so early, we do have a high risk, or I should say a moderate risk for heat-related injuries, especially around the Triangle area. For people who are sensitive to heat or don't have air conditioning, just be sensitive to the fact that it's going to be hot and humid all the way through Sunday. Take whatever precautions you can. You can see the red shaded areas. That's where temperatures are above normal. And then that cold front sweeps through Sunday and delivers some really chilly temperatures. And we could stay below normal all the way through April 13th, through the middle of the month. Late Sunday night into Monday, we'll see showers and thunderstorms, a significant amount of rain for us on Monday.
All right, Elizabeth, staying on top of that breaking news in northern Wake County, we're talking about this deadly crash there on Lewisburg Road, right near I-540 in the last few minutes or so. We know that 2 lanes of traffic in the southbound lanes have reopened, but of course those northbound lanes remain closed. Let's take this live look, courtesy of photographer Charles Bradley. You can see a couple of those lanes getting through, and tow trucks have shown up. Those are the 2 mangled vehicles there in the area, and the tow truck drivers are trying to clear that debris. We know that the drivers of both those vehicles died. Now, we're not sure how long this scene will be active, but of course, we'll continue to monitor it here in the WRAL Traffic Center. In terms of getting around it, your best bet will be to use Capitol Boulevard, whether you're coming south or you're heading north on that area. Right now, we don't have any major routes elsewhere in the capital city delaying anybody in terms of coming into the capital city. Maybe the troubled spot is 7 minutes coming in from Wake Forest. In Durham, though, very little to no delays heading into the Bull City. You're getting ready to head into the car. 101.5 HD3, that's the place. We'll keep you updated.
And back here in the WRAL Live Center, surprising and solid. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics just released the March jobs numbers, and here they are right now, adding 228,000 jobs in March. That is stronger than expected because 140,000 is what folks thought that would be the number that came out. So that is much stronger than expected, showing possibly some stability in the economy. Will it be here to stay? That's hard to say because as the job growth has accelerated just a bit, unemployment has hit 4.2%. Now, it was 4.1% last month, so that is not a huge difference, but it is up. And next month will be where we want to look with this April jobs report. But I did want to give a quick check of stock futures with Dow Jones. Not a huge mover right now getting those new jobs numbers out, but getting closer to triple digits instead of over 1,000 down right now.
Another day starting off in the red. All right. Thanks, Jeff. It's unclear what's happening to be part of the funding for an expansion project at Marbles Kids Museum. The Trump administration announced an executive order shrinking 7 federal agencies, and that includes the Institute of Museum and Library Services. The agency provided the museum a grant last year, and a spokesperson for Marbles says the museum is committed to moving forward with a project using other funding sources. The fundraising campaign has raised more than $8.5 million toward the project already. A Wisconsin artist is putting the final touches on his NFL Draft Day installation. Check it out. The league saw Ike Winter's work online and they liked it so much, they asked him to create 32 art pieces for the 2025 draft in Green Bay. Winter says it's an honor to be able to represent his community in front of the world.
Being from Milwaukee and from Wisconsin has been a big part of my brand and the way I storytell my journey. So now to represent it on such a national stage is very surreal for me. I'm just beyond grateful for the opportunity.
Support artists is the headline there. This year's theme is Built by Community. Every material used in Winter's work was found on the side of the road or in alleys across Milwaukee. Durham Tech has a new therapy dog on campus, and she is already lifting spirits. This is Zoe. She's a 7-month-old golden retriever. She is the newest member of the school's police and public safety department. They received a grant from the Canine Responders Academy to get Zoe.
We've seen an uptick in mental health wellness calls over the past few years. So we felt it was necessary to start looking to how we could provide better resources and support for the students, and not just students, but faculty also.
The Durham Tech police chief says Zoe will be a calming presence and constant companion on campus. From Dreamville to the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters, there is a lot happening over this weekend. WRAL's lifestyle editor, Kathy Hanrahan, is here with Out and About's Bets. All right, Kathy, so let's start with Dreamville Fest. It's happening all this weekend at Dix Park.
This is the final year for Dreamville. It's happening Saturday and Sunday at Dix Park. It is sold out, but if you didn't get tickets, you can still be part of the Dreamville fun. The festival has some community pop-up events happening today, including a free block party from 1 to 8 p.m. over next to the Cam Raleigh in downtown.
And if you didn't get a ticket, it's already sold out, but still, we got to tell people about it. We know traffic will be a concern there. And there's a big festival happening on Saturday in Cary. So talk to us about Fest in the West.
This is a great family-friendly pick for the weekend. It's happening on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Mills Park. There's going to be 2 stages of performances, lots of activities, everything from jump roping, an obstacle course, even a petting zoo. Admission is free.
So that'll be fun for the family, right? Get out there, have some fun, even do a little exercising too. And then we have to talk about Sunday, right? The Harlem Globetrotters, they're in town.
I love the Globetrotters. They're so much fun. This is another great family-friendly pick for the weekend. These games are so interactive. Lots of laughs, so much action. It's all happening at the Lenovo Center in Raleigh on Sunday. Tickets are available, but you know, of course, they go fast.
They do go fast. I've only seen them play once when I was a little kid, but I know it's still fun to see them out and about entertaining people. And there are events coming up this month. You can see Kathy's list of more than 100 events happening this April on WRAL.com's Out and About section. Thanks, Kathy. So we now know the exact day NC State will be holding its spring commencement. The university says it's happening on Saturday, March 3rd at 8 a.m. in Carter Finley Stadium. NC State has not yet announced its keynote speaker, but UNC's commencement is 6 p.m. on May 10th with former professional soccer player Mia Hamm as the keynote speaker. Duke's commencement is May 11th at 9:30, and Atlanta Hawks co-owner Grant Hill will be their speaker. Well, it appears Fire Festival 2 is not happening in Mexico. Surprise. Event organizer Billy McFarland announced last week that the music festival would take place in Playa del Carmen, but city officials there say Yeah, that's not true. And there's no event scheduled in the city. You may recall McFarland served just under 4 years for fraud, and that's because he left guests stranded in the Bahamas after failing to deliver during the first Fire Festival in 2017. But McFarland has not commented on that current situation. Hey, before we go to break, here's a quick look at your winning lottery numbers, and we will check weather and we will check traffic in just a second.